Welcome back to the Journeyman Cave, everybody. This is episode 50. With me, as always, for this special episode, Mr. Mark Shakespeare. How you doing?
Yeah, very well, mate. This is a special episode for me, this one, mate. It's something that I've been thinking about doing for a while because, as we'll find out, I'll never get to see these two guys in person to interview them, and I'm sure it would have been brilliant for me and you to meet them. But got a large tribute episode here to Billy and Ernie Smith, two absolute warriors of the sport, two characters of the game. I remember they were around when I was a lot younger, and if ever I were watching a show on Sky or whatever it were on, you know, you could guarantee Ernie or Billy were on there at some point every week. And when we started doing this show, I'd have loved to be able to interview him, but obviously it was tragic what happened to him after Ernie took his own life. You know, 161 fights in total, which is absolutely amazing. And then, unfortunately, sadly, 3 years on after that, Billy did exactly the same many fights, 161, and tragically took his own life as well. And as you know, suicide is close to my heart as well, and it, you know, I suffer a bit myself. And I just thought for a while, we both thought, didn't we, what could we do to give these guys a bit of a shout out on the show and get them involved? And I think they deserve a voice. So what we've done today is I've got a few people on Facebook who I know, and I just thought to myself, let's just message these fighters and just see if they could share with me a couple of minutes of their experiences in the ring with the Smith brothers. And to be fair, I was overwhelmed with the quality of fighters that got back in touch with me and actually took the time out to send a nice voicemail across, because it really means a lot. And that's why, to me, this is going to be a very special episode. And this is my way of giving Ernie and Billy a little bit of a tribute.
Yeah, very well said, mate. I mean, we didn't want to do a biography episode. There's plenty of other places, you know, that you can find out the finer details of their lives and what have you. But obviously, like you say, these two were around regularly and they've been mentioned frequently, you know, over the months that we've been doing this. And obviously you knew about it years ago. So we chatted about it and thought, well, let's do a bit of a feature episode. And that's what we've done. And all the work, you've done all the work, mate. You contacted all these fighters, asked them for their memories, and they've been good enough and kind enough to send some voice messages over. So what we'll do, we'll play some of these memories and we'll just chip in now and again, but we'll let them do the talking. So the first of our clips that you were sent, Shecky, I think a good one to start with is Michael Lomax. He does a very good, shall we say, summary, because he fought both brothers. What else can you tell us about Michael?
Great fighter, mate, was Michael. I remember him shocking everybody, I think, when he won the prize fighter on Sky Sports. Nobody expected that, and went on to get a few more honours. Fought some great fighters and also picked up the British title on the way. So I think he's a great person to start with, to be quite honest. And he were thrilled when I messaged him to come onto this episode. He was more than willing, and like he says, I think you listen to this clip and it gives a good detail into the guys, into the brothers.
Yeah, let's have a listen to Michael Lomax and we'll chat after.
Hi Mark, driving at the moment, so I thought I'd give you a voice note because one of the most, I would say, famous and popular journeymen out there were the Ernie and Billy Smith brothers. Ernie, I boxed on my first fight, and it was funny, I turned up to Brentwood Leisure Centre and I didn't know who I was fighting, and my cornermen and all that lot turned around and went, oh, there's your opponent over there, who was outside actually having a fag. Couldn't believe it. He only got stopped a number of times, like the likes of Tagaloo and things like that. I came out and I put him down in about a minute and a half. Ended up doing my hands in, took 8 months for him to heal. I didn't break them, I bruised them down to the bone. And then further down the line, I then boxed his younger brother, Billy Smith, at like welterweight. But in the end, they both... Billy had his licence taken off of him. I think he failed a brain scan and that lot. So depression cut in, and he took his own life. And I just said Billy there, sorry, I meant Ernie. I always get him confused. And then not long after, his younger brother, or twin brother Billy, got to near enough the same record and took his own life as well because he missed his brother that much. They're the most famous journeymen out there of my era at the time. Who else? There's a few boys, but at the moment it's a bit early for me to start thinking. But yeah, no, if I can help you out with anything, just give me a shout. Cheers, mate. Bye.
Yeah, I thought that were a very good tribute to the pair of them. I think next up, we're going to do 2 clips back to back. They're a bit shorter, and neither are boxers. We've got Steve Lillis, who was a journalist and now a licensed matchmaker. You'll hear his voice first, and then we've got Latif Mohammed, who was a coach and boxing manager. So I just thought we'll put these two one after the other. So first you'll hear Steve Lillis, and then after that, Latif Mohammed.
Hello, mate. I remember Billy a lot more. I remember Ernie, obviously, but I saw Billy fight a hell of a lot, mate. Tough, stocky, strong, just a hard night's work for anybody. Ideal. Any young kid, 5-6 fights in, even before earlier, just an ideal opponent, wasn't he? To give them work, it would show them how hard it was. I saw Ernie, but I didn't take the notice of him. I did a Billy, just a tragedy how it all unfolded for them. Great shame. Sorry I can't add more than that, mate. And I hope all things good, and they deserve the tribute episode of the Journeyman Cave, and keep it going, mate. And the top work, there's some great stories to be told there.
Big shout out to Billy and Ernie Smith, 2 absolute legends in the Journeyman boxing era. Absolutely gave it 100%. Big respect. When you're in with Billy and Ernie, you were in with a fight. Actually, they had the fighting spirit. Nothing was easy, so God bless them, and big respect.
Yeah, and big respect to Latif for that little tribute. Next up, I think we're going to listen to John Murray, and you're going to tell us a little bit about John.
I remember John for many years. What a fighter he was. You knew when you were in with John, you're in for a scrap, and he were a warrior. Went on to claim British and European championships, and I always, when I messaged him about this, I didn't think he was actually going to get back to me, but when I messaged him within about 2 minutes, that voice clip was back to me, and I think it's a fitting tribute to them both. And I don't think Billy were happy when he stopped him first time round. You'll see in this clip.
Yeah, let's go and listen to John Murray.
Fighting Ernie Smith when I must have been around about 11, 12 fight or something like that, and it was at Shaw Leisure Centre, and I walked in and he was sat at the bar having a pint of Guinness, and Ernie Smith was a bit bigger than me. I was only super heavyweight at the time. I think he's like a welterweight, and I looked at him and I was scared at this point. I didn't understand what journeyman was or anything like that. I seen a big traveller man with a pint of Guinness at the bar, and I thought, this guy's a monster. you know what I mean? I thought it put a fear that got into me, but it was a good fight, and I enjoyed sharing the ring with him. I've still got a picture of that up on my dad's wall. He had yellow gloves on. I boxed Billy Smith twice, and the first time I boxed him, I was really poorly actually, but I come out and I put on a really, really good display and ended up stopping him in the 6th round, and Billy was really pissed off about it, so we had to have another fight. He wanted to have another fight, and the second time we boxed him, I didn't stop him second time, but we had a really good fight, and he was saying to me, I should never have been stopped first time and that, but really great memories of both of them, and 2 top men, so rest in peace.
Thanks to John Murray for that one. And next up, I think we're going to listen to Lee McAllister. This is a name I've heard a few times. Oh,
the old Aberdeen assassin. He is one character, is that guy, mate. And you know what? He wants her to break his mold and he wants to come on show, does Lee?
Oh, does he?
Yeah, but whether he's a little bit too good with that record, I don't know. But yet again, quality fighter, really appreciate him taking his time out to send this message. I think he fought them both twice at least, both brothers, both Ernie and Billy. So he'll know a lot about them sharing the ring. And another class fighter, held the IBO world title at one point. Also Commonwealth champion at different weights as well. So they didn't call me assassin for nothing, mate. Quality fighter.
Yeah, far too good for our show.
Yeah, well, he's determined to get on.
We'll make an exception for Lee. So let's go and listen to him.
Well, what can I say about the two Smith brothers, mate? They're absolute legends. Two very, very tough boys. And I actually got the pleasure to share a ring with both of them on more than one occasion. I think I boxed Ernie twice and Billy twice. So for me, it was guys in this day and age, you don't have guys like them anymore. These lads were proper journeymen. They came to give the fighters coming through a test. They came to fight and give them a test and make them work hard for the win. Nowadays, these guys are trying to avoid to take punches, avoid taking the fights, and throw themselves on the floor. These guys are real hard men. This is the guys who came through, and if you couldn't beat them, you knew you was in trouble. They was top guys. Like I say, both guys are absolute legends, and it's an absolute tragedy for them both to be passed away at such a young age. Like I say, absolute gentlemen of the sport, gentlemen to talk to, and an absolute pleasure to share a ring. I couldn't be more happy with the fact that I actually shared a ring with these two lovely guys. Like I said, absolute gentlemen, absolute top guys. And once again, I can only salute to them, and that their families should be proud of them. If their kids and their families listen to this, they should be very proud of what they achieved in boxing, because not many two fighting brothers can achieve what they achieved. Like I say, rest in peace for the legends.
Thanks to Lee for that one. Going to listen to a couple of shorter ones again now. We've got first up Femi Fehintola. What can you tell us about him?
What a guy. When I realised he'd fought him, I contacted Femi, and the response and the message he sent me is exactly what I were hoping for. It's just Femi to a T what he sent this message. It just says it how it is, straight down the line. Great guy, top fighter, won the English title as well, which is no mean feat. He should be very proud of that, and he were always a dangerous man in the ring with Femi.
Brilliant. And he fought Billy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the second clip you'll hear is from Ashley Theophane. I had a quick look at him, and the one thing I can tell you is that he's got a book out, a biography called Raised by the Hood. But what about his record?
Quality fighter again, mate. Went to the States as well, did Ashley, towards the end of the career. He were, I think you're big friends with Floyd Mayweather, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, right.
Won the British title over here. And if I'm not mistaken as well, he went over to America and challenged for the WBA World Championship as well before he finished. So top fighter is Ashley. And just like everybody else, I know I keep saying it a few times, really appreciate these guys' time. It means a lot to us.
It certainly does. So we'll listen to Femi and then Ashley.
Billy Smith, what a fighter he was. Tough as fuck. Couldn't hurt him. Couldn't knock him out. And in first round, when I was beating him up with jabs and all right crosses, he said to me, if you want an easy night, just use your jab. So I thought, I want an easy night. I can't knock him out. He's too tough. I'm going to just use my jab. And as I'm doing it, I was outboxing him, and he was saying, that's it, talking to me while I was fighting with him. What a great fighter he was, God. Great fighter and great person, him and his brother. His brother took my mate to a draw. But what a fighter he was, man. Unbelievable. Journeyman he was. Great warrior.
Billy and Ernie Smith were legends in the British boxing industry. I always remember as a young professional wanting to fight both of them. I got to fight Billy Smith, and he was very strong. You couldn't put a dent in him, and he just kept coming and wanting to have a go. So I think both of them are credits to the industry, and many of us wouldn't be where we went on to be if it wasn't for fighters like them.
Thank you to Femi and Ashley for their contributions. The next two we're going to put together, both for Ernie Smith. We've got Arv Mittoo and Jawaid Khaliq.
Arv Mittoo, obviously the son of the great Alan Mittoo, was a top amateur in his time, I think. Then he turned over and, if I'm not mistaken, went on to fight Michael Jennings for the WBU title. And then obviously we've got Jawaid to follow this up as well. Another quality fighter, only got beat once. As you mentioned, he also fought Ernie, so we thought it might as well put these two guys together. And as people will know, Jawaid had a very long career holding that IBO world title, which I know we're very, very honoured to hold. I'm not surprised.
Yeah. So the first voice you'll hear is Arv Mittoo's, followed by Jawaid Khaliq.
I first heard about the Smith brothers when I was asked to fight one of them in my up-and-coming career. That was at the Wembley Conference Centre against Ernie Smith. And I tell you what, my first impression was when I see him, I thought, bloody hell, this is the size of a fella. So, muscles everywhere. He looked the part, looks a bit scary. It was near Christmas, and fortunately I stopped him with a body shot. Though, in my memory, I think he just wanted to take the payday and go and have a nice Christmas. But lovely fella, had a little chat with him afterwards. And then again, I fought him a bit later on in my career and beat him on points that time. In my head, I thought, I'll go and stop him again. That'd be handy. And but yeah, he actually boxed a bit and didn't want to get stopped that time. It was under his what do I want to say? His decision, really, you know, to box and move and lose the fight, or you know, get stopped like he did the first time. But yeah, he decided to crack on, and yeah, it was not a tough fight, but yeah, he was there, you know. And I think both brothers, you know, have showed immense like power and to do what they did in the boxing game. So, you know, full credit to them, and we'll always remember sharing a ring with Ernie Smith.
Hi, I hope you're well. This is Jawaid Khaliq. Yeah, my experience with the Smith brothers was I boxed one of them, Ernie Smith, so I know they were both very good for the game, helped out a lot of people, shortened his fights and stuff. Very tough, very durable, always came to test you, give you a good fight, and gave me a decent test as well. I think I stopped him in 6 rounds, but he really came for it and just he gave me a few problems in the early rounds, but then I think I got to him with body shots. I didn't really meet him much after that. After the fight we spoke, just like boxers do, a bit of respect. Asked me for a drink, I brought him a drink. But other than that, we didn't really have much more interactions, really. But yeah, very sad to hear that he passed away, one of the brothers. Yeah, always sad when somebody goes very young. So rest in peace.
Thanks to Ross and Jawaid there. Next pairing we've got Shecky. Both fought Ernie again, but I think they both knew Billy as well. In fact, we know one did, because it's a good friend of the show, Arv Mittoo, followed by Jonjo Finnegan.
Yes. Obviously, I knew Arv had fought him, and I know he knew him quite well back in the day. So, obviously, when I messaged him, he jumped at the chance to come on here. But also, when I was speaking to him, we got talking about one of his former opponents, Jonjo Finnegan, who were a top boxer, and unfortunately, a bit of an accident in the ring, unfortunately. But he's doing really well. And we decided, I wonder if Jonjo would like to get involved. And as you can see, he sent a great clip over. And it was an honour to receive a message from him, to be quite honest. So thank you to Arv and Jonjo.
Yeah, the first voice you will hear is Jonjo's, and then you'll hear Arv's clip.
Yeah, what can I say really? Just an amazing guy. One of British boxing gems for me. You know, took a fight. I was supposed to box a lad called Jamie Ambler at one time, Mark, and it was I'd sold a lot of tickets, and it was at Burton as well. The show was at Burton, and Jamie pulled out on me like a day before. I'd sold about 350, 400 tickets I had. He looked like I wasn't able to box, and Errol said to me, Errol was managing me, approached me at the time. He said, "John, leave it with me, Sam. I'm trying my hardest to get somebody. It's not looking likely at the minute, because it's like last minute." Anyway, Ernie, bless him, Ernie coming last minute and took the fight. He gave a fair bit of weight away to me as well. Yeah, so we jumped in there and had a little move around, and yeah, I beat him on points. Just as amazing. As from that day, a little bit like me and Arv, we become really, really good friends. It just absolutely it got to me to it that what happened, and you know, we committed suicide and that in the end. I knew Billy as well, and Billy was in the gym now and again, and we was on the same shows now and again, me and Billy. Just two really, really just gems of lads, and really amazing lads. They really were. There'll always be a place in my heart for both of them, and even to this day when I pray for them both, and I really do hope and pray that they're in a better place. I really do.
Good afternoon. I remember going to fight Ernie Smith. What a lovely guy he was. Nice, beautiful guy. After I'd fought him, you know, we become good friends. But, you know, I didn't really understand boxing back then. It was one of my, I don't know if it was my third, fourth fights. I don't quite remember. But, you know, we didn't quite understand, you know, about being a prospect, being an opponent, being a journeyman. Didn't understand about that. When I went in boxing, I always tried to win at first until I understand the nature of the game, what my job was, being in the camp I was in. And yeah, me and Ernie, we had a cracking fight. I had a draw. We had a draw and a home show, one of his home shows. We had a draw. But yeah, we had a good fight, and then we become good friends then. What a guy he was. So I always see him at all the shows, and we always got on really, really well. I didn't even know he had a twin brother. Then later on, I realised he had a twin brother. Got to know him as well. I was so shocked. And then I even asked his brother, "Do you know why he done it?" He says, "I haven't a clue." Only to know later on, he went into the, you know, tried to have the same amount. Well, didn't he? Waited till he had the same amount of fights as his brother. You know, so tragic. But two beautiful guys, and Ernie was a very, very good friend of mine. We become good friends, and we see one another at the shows quite regularly, and we have a right laugh. God bless his soul, you know, and God bless Billy as well. But two hard, tough men, hard as nails. You know, why Ernie killed himself, I'll never know. But yeah, I really got on very well with him, and Billy as well. I don't know. It's so sad.
Thank you to Jonjo and Arv there. Some quite heartfelt words, I thought. So we're coming to the end now, mate, of the contributions that people have sent us. And the last two we're going to hear from are Brian Coleman and Jack Arnfield. What can you tell us about those two?
Well, we know Brian's a fan of the show, isn't he?
Yeah.
And we were going to meet him last year, weren't we? But obviously personal reasons didn't fulfit it at the time we travelled down the Midlands. But hopefully this summer we'll get to meet him. And I thought it were only fitting because he's fought Ernie at least 5 times, if I'm not mistaken. So if anyone knows him, Brian does. I don't think you're happy about fighting him all the time, but I think they were about the bragging rights at the time with them, and, you know, 2 warriors and 2 great road warriors, and it was great to have Brian send a message over. And then, obviously, I had to get in touch with Jack a few years ago. He sent me an autograph, so I've always kept an eye on him and stuff. So he's a good lad. Thanks for that, Jack. And a top fighter, you know, he's challenged for a British title a couple of times and just dropped short. But if I'm not mistaken, he's coming back out of retirement, mate.
Oh, really?
If I'm not mistaken, he's fighting at the Winter Gardens in Blackpool against one of our favourite journeymen, the Camden caretaker, Robbie Chapman.
Robbie, yeah. Did you get a draw of the week?
He most certainly did. He got a draw last weekend, and we're sorry we didn't put a post out for you there, Robbie. Hope you're listening.
That's my fault, Robbie. I mean, I must have been busy, but that's no excuse.
No. I think it's 2 great people, 2 great fighters to finish with, and I hope the listeners have enjoyed this episode.
Yeah, I do. Thank you for listening. It's something a bit different and we thought worth doing. Let's see if we might do something similar again in future. But for now, please like and subscribe. Keep listening. Tell your mates about us. The more listeners, the better. And we're just going to keep doing this because we enjoy it. And Series 6 is coming up, well, thick and fast. So we're going to leave you with, first you'll hear from Brian Coleman and we'll finish with Jack Arnfield. So I'll see you soon, Shecky.
See you too, mate.
Yeah, hi Steve. A lot of message for Ernie, my old pal. Yeah, I mean, he was one tough kid. We boxed each other around 5 times, as you know. And you know what? We were pretty evenly matched. And those 5 fights were probably 5 of my toughest fights that I'd probably ever had. Yeah, I boxed, up and coming world champions. And Ernie, we just, we both wanted to win, and it was just, we wanted bragging rights for the Midlands and all that. But yeah, and if I'm honest, every time Nobby phoned me and said, "Oh, you fighting your old pal Ernie again?" I'll be like, "Oh God, not Ernie again," because he really would have given me a hard fight. I knew it was going to be tough. I didn't really know his brother Billy, but I knew he was one tough kid. He was cut from the same cloth as his bro. I just want to say rest in peace to them too. I hope you're having a dance up there from your old dancing partner, Brian Coleman. God bless him.
Hi, Mark. So, the first dealings I had, or not even dealings, the first time I heard of any of the Smith brothers was before I turned pro. I went to watch Brian Rose fight. And I think he boxed Ernie Smith over in Robin Park, I think, at Wigan. So that's the first dealings I heard of them two boys. And I remember going to watch him, and after the weigh-in, Ernie Smith was outside having a fag before the fight. And I kind of didn't really know what journeyman was then. So I was like dumbfounded by this guy that was having a fag outside and then going in the boxing ring to fight Brian Rose. I think he ended up fighting him twice actually, because he had an opponent pull out on him. And then a few years later I turned pro and I boxed Billy Smith. Again, it was a short notice fight. I boxed him at Coleman Municipal Hall, if I remember right, but I can't be 100% sure on that. He come up from welterweight to fight me at light middleweight, and he was again tough as all boots. I hit him with everything but the kitchen sink, and the guy still kept coming. He still gave a good account of himself. There was no way of putting him over. Really, really tough guys, but again, dead respectful, dead nice. And it's a real shame about what happened to the pair of them. But yeah, great guys, great memories. Boxing definitely misses guys like that.
The Journeyman Cave is produced by James Proud. Music by Ryan Carrier. Special thanks to Rhythm Inc. Studios for hosting. All views expressed are of the guests only. The Journeyman Cave and host bear no responsibility for any opinions given. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter @The Journeyman Cave.